In this video, we're going to take a look at another example that uses trig identities to help us factor. So just as a reminder, the instruction is factor as fully as possible. So looking at 3 sine x plus 2 cos x, I see that there are 2 terms. They do not have a common factor, and they are not a difference of squares. So at this point, we don't really have any other factoring methods that we can try. One of the issues of why I can't currently factor this is because the trig ratios don't match. So it would be helpful if we could try to write them with the same trig ratio. So what I would recommend doing is taking out your identity sheet, and we are going to look and see if we can find an identity that has both sine and cosine in the same one. So right now we are really just using the reciprocal, quotient, and Pythagorean identities. As I scan through, I do see that the identity for tan has both sine and cosine in it. The identity for cotan has both sine and cosine in it. And we have the sine squared plus cos squared equals 1. Now, when I look at the expression that we have, I notice that the sine and the cosine are not squared. So if I wanted to use this identity, I'd have to rearrange and eventually end up doing a square root, which is not going to be easy to work with. So instead, I think we're going to take a look at either tan x or cotan x, and I'm going to choose tan x. So off to the side, I am going to write down my identity that tan x equals sine x divided by cos x. What I would like to do is find a way to either get the sine x by itself or the cos x by itself. So the easiest thing to do here would be to multiply the cosine x to the other side, and that would give me tan x cos x equal to sine x. And then while it didn't get it to be just a cosine x, it did find a way to write sine x as something using a cosine x. So I am going to take out the sine x and in its place put tan x cos x. So this is going to end up equaling 3 times tan x cos x plus 2 cos x. Now, what I notice at this point is that both of these terms now have a cosine x. So I could simply common factor out a cosine x. So I have cosine of x equals, if I divide 3 tan x cos x by cos x, I'm going to be left with a 3 and a tan x. And then if I divide 2 cos x by cos x, I'm left with a plus 2. So at this point, we have created a multiplication question, right? So it is now factored. If I look at this bracket, I do not see how I could factor it any further. So I would leave that as my final answer. All right, I'll see you in the next video.